Have you ever felt like you were losing yourself in all the beneficial things you do for other people? We all want to be charitable people who love and help others. Have you ever considered whether your kindness is becoming a trap? You give up something without expecting anything in return, but we often hear that being kind will be like taking on your pain in silence. People praise and say that helping others is a beneficial thing to do, but that isn't always the case. That easy. But when kindness has no limits, it can become a drag. That makes you lose control. And sometimes that kindness turns into a double-edged sword. Cutting you with a sword, Stoic thought, with its set of deep and enduring principles, says that being too kind can make you. We will look at weak, vulnerable, and easily exploited people in this film. Here are 5 useful lessons from Stoic thought that will benefit you. Know when to say no and set limits to keep yourself safe. Self-kindness shouldn't mean giving up everything, but it should be a balance between the mind and the heart, between giving and getting, and between loving. And let's embark on this journey together to understand that sometimes it's important to protect yourself. Being kind to yourself and others means knowing when to stop. Number 1, don't give up your own needs to help others. We hear that helping others is good and should be done. As a Stoic philosopher, I believe we should put the wants of others ahead of our own. Please consider whether giving up something is right. You should help others without considering your own ideals and limits. Philosophy doesn't teach either selfishness or kindness. No matter what, a candle burns itself out to illuminate the path for others. In this case, we pay the price for giving up something to help. It can be harmful to act toward others without considering their consequences beforehand. Without knowledge and self-awareness, kindness can easily become a trap. Where you're willing to lose yourself, think of what Jesus did for us. He offers himself to humanity as an unconditional sign of love. There was kindness, but even in that enormous sacrifice, there was also knowledge and a higher purpose. Aim to save all people, but that doesn't mean that as regular people, we should willingly take on all of their problems and pain, the world without pondering what it means and what its bounds are. Sacrifice. Jesus gave up his life for a good cause, but he also showed us that every action must serve a purpose and strike a balance between love. And this explains why you can witness instances of excessive suffering in real life. Imagine that you are a hard worker who is always willing to help your co-workers. You work extra hours without expecting anything in return, only to find that your help is they don't value you and instead take it for granted. Abuse wears you out and causes you to lose your balance in life. You feel empty and worn out because your kindness doesn't bring you joy and happiness. Stress and pain prevent anyone from leading a joyful life. People constantly worry about others, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't care in mind, but we need to know when and where to set it. Is it possible to be strong if we can't take care of ourselves? And heart to really help other people? The question is, how do you recognize when your generosity reaches its limit and ceases to be necessary? I am making a sacrifice to answer this question. Do you feel tired? Every time you assist someone, you feel drained. Do you feel cheated or like people who don't care about you will only come to you when they need something? If the response is affirmative, you might want to reconsider giving up something. You should know that Stoicism is more than just staying cool when adverse things happen. However, it's also crucial to clearly articulate your values and beliefs. A well-known saying states, "How you lived is how you die." Being successful at living in this situation means knowing when to say no. You should prioritize yourself and protect Val. One important thing to learn from Jesus is that he often went away to be alone. He didn't always give people places to pray and rest. Without receiving, He knew that he needed time in order to continue his goal. Bring back his strength and energy. This is also a lesson for us on how to keep helping. Before taking care of others, we need to take care of ourselves. This is not a sign of selfishness, but rather, get ready to be able to give more in any situation you may face in life. Family, friends, co-workers, or other people always tell you about their problems, and you're always ready to help. Pause and ask yourself, do they really need your help? Are you giving up too much and receiving nothing but fatigue in return? And being worn out. Kindness is wonderful, but logic must control it. That we can't help others when we're too tired to give. And self-awareness. Stoic thought tells us that true kindness doesn't lie in UNC if we are hurting ourselves. Conditional sacrifice is necessary, but we must be wise and understand how to keep ourselves safe beforehand. We assist others in a manner that is significant and enduring. The second kind thing is return. Kindness is one of the most people have valuable things to offer each other, but have you ever stopped to consider them? Ask yourself if the way people react to your kindness is really, we frequently become mired in the cycle of giving, believing we will receive something in return. You will receive something in return, but Stoic thought teaches us something more important. The lesson is that people don't always behave as we anticipate, and that's okay. Marcus Aurelius, who was one of the most important Stoic thinkers, said, "So, the happiness in your life relies on the quality of your thoughts. Therefore, exercise caution and ensure that you do not entertain any ideas that are inappropriate. Virtue and a sensible mind when we think about being kind, and the reaction it gets, it's important not to get caught up in the idea that there will always be thanks or something of equal value in return for every act of kindness. The truth is, not everyone will reciprocate your kindness. Don't misunderstand, this doesn't imply that you shouldn't be kind. People don't need to return kindness to know that they value them. Limitations and difficulties don't always coexist. Kindness, work, indifference, or even personal problems may come up. Stop them from reacting to your kindness, even if they want to. Our normal request and expectation limit is this. People don't always react in the way we want them to because that's not how life works. Jesus in the New Testament uses such simple language. It is taught that you should love your enemies and pray for those who hurt you. Of very wise advice because it tells us that being kind shouldn't be limited by what they expect in return. Instead, it must come from the your. Kindness will always originate from the goodness of your heart, not from a desire for repayment. Even if today's world doesn't see or value things, we can still find value in them. It is easy to see the boundaries of reciprocity. For example, in the at work, you might go out of your way to help co-workers get through tough times, but when it's your turn to face tough times at work, not getting the same help when you need it can make you feel cheated or thought of as unimportant. But in times like these, you should remember that you're kind. Being kind demonstrates your kindness, not how others perceive you. Worth and character. Another case is impersonal. You can love someone deeply, but they may not. Return the favor in the way you expect. Maybe they're not ready, or it's important that you understand what they're going through. Don't allow this lack of response to determine your value or worth. When you reach the edges of kindness, you should still be kind. If you want to receive kindness, ask yourself if you are willing to keep it. Can you love someone without wanting anything in return? It's not straightforward to answer these questions about reciprocity, but they are very important. This is to help you understand what kindness really is and how it can exist. Stoic philosophy shows people how to live without needing praise or thanks, that real freedom comes from focusing on what you want instead of what other people want. You can't change how kind people are to you, but you can change how you treat them. After giving up the idea of getting something back, you can choose how. kindness will get stronger, freer, and more real for you. Understanding is the most important thing we can learn from this. Christ demonstrated to us the value of kindness without the need for reciprocation. Stoic thought and pure love remind us of the freedom that comes with it. By letting go of demands, keep showing kindness because of the answer, but also because it's the right thing to do. You are a reflection of who you are and what you feel. Remember that in a world where you don't have to be mean to anyone, but your kindness might not be necessary. Anything that limits or measures you, so are you ready to go? Can you find joy in being kind to others without expecting anything in return? In a world where everything is possible, it is important to do good without expecting anything in return. Can you extend kindness in a manner that doesn't require it? Number 3, kindness that knows no bounds. Kindness is a positive trait that shows love, but it can also be dangerous. Stoic philosophy encourages us to contemplate the concept of infinite kindness through empathy. Can turn into a double-edged sword that hurts both the person receiving it and, to the one who gives, how can a good trait like kindness hurt someone? Balance and moderation are important ideas in Stoic thought. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said that anything, no matter how beneficial something is, too much of it can be bad. Kindness has its own effects, and excessive kindness can have negative consequences. Others are weakening, becoming dependent on others, and losing their ability to stand on their own. When you are always willing to help without thinking about it, you take charge, taking away their chance to grow and learn from there. He also taught, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will eat for life means just that. Beyond giving people things, it's about teaching them how to be self-sufficient and not depend on endless help. Help from others is a well-known example of unrestrained kindness that leads to Michael Jackson's story, is one of the best examples of adverse things that can happen. Michael Jackson was known for having a good heart and always being ready to help others. He was always willing to help others, but many people took advantage of his kindness. He always tried to make everyone around him happy, even those close to him. Family members and friends provide financial support to employees. While helping them with their problems and being kind to them no matter what, many people turned into Michael Jackson, lost a lot of mental and physical health over the years. When we look back at Michael Jackson's life, we can see that he was kind and generous. Despite its origins, it underwent use and transformation. Load that not only hurt him, but also made relationships unhealthy, where these people were the ones who hurt him the most. This is a clear case of how being kind all the time can lead to undesirable things. So, have you ever asked yourself how you can stay kind without letting it turn bad? How do you know when to let others stand alone? Are you ready to face the fact that refusing to help might be the best thing to do sometimes? Stoic thought does not specify what is the best thing one can do for another person. We should limit our kindness instead of being kind. Setting and accepting boundaries doesn't harm anyone as long as neither party suffers. Actually, it shows you understand and care. Respecting others helps them become independent. Jesus not only taught us about unconditional love, but also the story emphasized the importance of helping others in the right way. The Good Samaritan teaches us that kindness requires knowledge. The kind Samaritan not only helped the hurt man, but also made sure that he was okay. Would be well taken care of, not just by saving him right now, but also by making sure long-term recovery. Kindness is a great trait, but it requires control. When carefully considered, both Stoic theory and Jesus' teachings emphasize this. Kindness can hurt the person you're helping and make something less valuable. If you want to show kindness, ask yourself if it's really going to help them grow, or is it hurting them by making them dependent? Remember that real kindness it's not only about giving, but also about inspiring others to stand up for their beliefs, grow based on their skills. Are you ready to set limits to protect your kindness? Consider yourself and the individuals you wish to assist as the fourth priority. Have you ever thought that someone saw your kindness as a sign of weakness? When there is a lot of competition and sometimes a lack of care, kindness is not appreciated, it is always honored. And sometimes it's even seen as, but is being kind and caring really a sign of weakness? Or is it Stoicism is a great strength that not everyone understands? Real strength does not stem from the ability to control or force someone to do what you want. Instead of focusing on other people, one should focus on controlling oneself and maintaining honor in all situations. In these situations, this inner strength is shown by being able to be kind even when other people treat you badly or don't understand you. Being kind is not a sign of weakness. It shows that you have a strong heart and soul. Responding to someone who is unaffected by prejudice or criticism from others is simple. Mistreatment with anger is simple to keep up, but being kind and compassionate is much harder to keep up. This is especially true when other people think it makes you weak. Marcus. The ruler and Stoic philosopher Aurelius told us that the value of an act of kindness depends on our sincerity, not on how well others notice it. Let's take a look at Nelson Mandela's life. He lived through 27 years upon his release, the harsh apartheid government in South Africa had imprisoned him. Mandela had every reason to be agitated and get back at the people who hurt him. He should have done that, but he didn't. Instead, I chose the path of forgiveness, kindness, and peace. Many people may interpret this as an indication that the person lacks the necessary strength. The truth is that he did the exact opposite. Mandela's decision to forgive and make peace made him famous all over the world. Mandela demonstrated true mental strength and bravery. Getting back at someone or forcing them does not build strength. His kindness not only healed his own hurts, but also those of a whole group of people. Country, a group of people who are deeply divided by hatred. Mandela's kindness was not a sign of weakness, but of strength that went beyond pain. And to this day, people still often get kindness wrong when they mean a weakness, a caring leader who pays attention and treats others with respect. People might not think you're tough or determined enough, but ask yourself if it's really that simple to stay kind in a very competitive world. Consider an environment that frequently praises desire and selfishness. Business people, such as Richard Branson, founded the Virgin Group. Branson is not typical, he is a tough boss, but his kindness and care have made a creative environment possible. At work, employees experience a sense of worth and receive motivation to excel. This is not a flaw, but rather a strength of kindness and understanding. Have you ever considered how to show kindness without coming across as weak? Ask yourself, is real power in dominating and controlling other people, or in being kind even when you've been hurt or misunderstood? Is what truly brings permanent happiness surpasses other forms of happiness, or the internal aspect of living authentically? Stoic philosophy tells us that being strong is more than just being able to act, but also in being able to keep going without letting it affect you. Negativity from outside sources. Do the right thing and don't worry about other people. Judgment. This means that others shouldn't notice or judge kindness, but being kind is not a sign of weakness just because we believe in it. An honest show of strength in a world where toughness and people in positions of authority frequently receive praise for their kindness, which requires a great deal of courage and patience. Having kindness and a strong spirit like Nelson Mandela or Richard Branson showed us that being strong isn't about conquest or there is pressure, but the ability to be kind no matter what. In what situations do you think the concepts of Stoicism can be used? Are you willing to be kind every day, even if it's hard, was not understood or paid attention to? And if so, do you have the strength to maintain that kindness is an unbreakable and useful ability? Your story will inspire and provoke thought in all of us. Leave a comment below to join the chat. Number 5. Think again. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt stuck? When you give something, all you receive in return is mud or hurt. Stoic philosophy possesses a profound understanding of life and people. It teaches us that sometimes taking care of yourself is the most important thing you can do. The challenge is to bravely look at the relationships you have around you again. Spending time and effort on relationships is important, but not every breakup is. It's not always a failure. Sometimes it's an important step in your growth journey. According to Aristotle, we become what we do over and over again. Applies to our relationships. The people you spend every day with have a big effect on if these people don't bring these thoughts, feelings, and actions. If a friendship doesn't provide positive value and doesn't aid in your personal growth, it might not be the right fit for you. It's not healthy to reevaluate or even end these ties. It may seem selfish, but it's necessary to protect your mental health and personal relationships. Society's rules often put a lot of pressure on us to keep partnerships going with everyone around us, even if those ties are bad for us. Philosophy teaches us that having inner power and freedom are the most important things to do if a relationship makes you feel less valuable. Having the guts to say goodbye is not giving up. It's being smart. You make a decision based on a profound understanding of your identity and your true needs. Oprah Winfrey, who is one of the world's most powerful women, has said how she had to break up with bad friends in order to grow, and Oprah has kept reevaluating herself in order to be successful in her life and work. They had relationships and they didn't hesitate to end ones that didn't bring them joy. Oprah once said, "Surround yourself only with people who bring good things into your life." If you don't get it, who will help you climb higher? Anywhere, Oprah's story shows that reevaluating ties is important. It is not only the prudent course of action, but also the sole path to achieving success and happiness. It takes courage for you to end situations that aren't working out anymore. There is room for good, positive relationships that help you grow and thrive. You are in a situation that doesn't add anything positive to your life. Are you ready to accept that not everyone belongs in your life? Are you ready to give up being alone for a short time in return for freedom of thought and room to grow are important to Stoic ideology. Protecting the mind and spirit from negative things is very important. This implies that you should not only let go of negative thoughts, but also setting limits in partnerships is important for protecting yourself from negative relationships. Boundaries are beneficial for your mental health and help you keep your inner balance. Keep yourself safe from harmful things and continue to be healthy. When you set clear limits, people who really respect you will stay with you. If you love and respect them, you will understand and accept them. Those who can't will not. Respecting your limits will gradually dissolve them, a valuable gift in today's world. Periodically reassess relationships and establish boundaries. If you put time and effort into it, you need to stay alive and do well. People who complain, insult, or attack you all the time will eventually lose faith, energy, and the drive to moving forward. But when you choose to keep only those who help and support you, you will become stronger, more confident in yourself, and happier than usual. Steve Jobs, who was instrumental in the founding of Apple, is one example. He surrounded himself with people who shared his goals and drive without hesitation. He formed connections with people who did not share his drive and did not meet his needs. This undoubtedly made Jobs a divisive figure. His determination to safeguard his creative space and attention was crucial. His amazing success in reevaluating ties Stoic philosophy teaches us an important lesson: holding on to old habits. The friendship not only hurts you, but also stops you from growing. Are you ready to? Establish boundaries to end relationships that are no longer beneficial. Doing this bravely will protect and grow the peace and progress of your soul. Respect yourself and make room for new, better, and more. Having meaningful relationships in your life is a priceless gift. Show your love for each other and share life, but be careful not to lose anything valuable. The limited Stoic philosophy reminds us to consider things like kindness. Being too kind can be a pain and even cause deep sadness. It hurts to have to give up too much when kindness isn't returned, or when it is. Being kind can blur the line between helping others, and we do not intend to simplify the lessons from Stoic philosophy. Value of kindness, but to help you see that keeping your heart and mind in check. It is crucial to remember that you don't have to give up. Kindness is good, but you should be smart about how you give it, and you should know yourself. Have self-respect on this journey, and be brave enough to look at your connections again. Know when to say no, because being kind doesn't mean giving everything you have. Are you being too nice? Are you ready to set limits to keep your heart and soul safe? Let kindness be your guide, but make sure it doesn't turn into a spark that burns you. Live according to Stoicism says that where love is lacking, kindness makes up for it. Not only is it a gift you give to others, but it's also something you keep for yourself. Please leave a comment if you like this video and let us know. If not, please leave a note with 0 stars so we can quickly change the content to make it better. Better and more advanced. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe the channel to ensure you don't miss the upcoming videos about Stoicism and personal growth.